What's up, Mariah?
Hello, how are you?
I wanted to say it like ODB. I wanted to go, "Hey, Mariah." You know that song?
No, I don't.
Stop.
I
Come
get
on.
it. Like I get two different songs. It's like that or like the Mariah Carey, like
But it's, "Hey, hey, hey, baby, I got your money, don't you worry."
yes.
You know that song?
Yes.
And that
Yes, I
old
do
dirty
actually.
bastard jumps in and goes, "Hey, Mariah." All right, I'm excited today. I have Mariah Keppel on the show with me. Mariah, what is up?
Not much. Just got back from training camp. Official day one, I guess. Everyone's here, so it's exciting.
Yeah, you say not much. I don't believe that. I think there's a lot much. I think like between, you saying you had the shows and the training camp, you seem to be pretty busy right now. We're gonna rip the lid off and go into kind of everything that you do, as a person, your
Yeah.
creativity and where you're going with your career. We'll start with hockey, but we'll go just for a little bit we'll kind of go with a short time on hockey. I feel like every single interview you've ever had has been hockey, which is obviously an integral part of your life. It's what you
Yes.
do, but I think there is more to Mariah than that. I wanted to say this week, future guests, I have Kyle Turley coming on this week, and I have a very special interview on Friday with the Goo Goo Dolls. So hopefully I can get this out in time, and everybody can check out the rest of the shows for the week. So Mariah, you're from Wisconsin, right? That's been established. You like cheese, all that other stuff, right?
Yep, all the good stuff.
That's all established. I
Yeah.
like cheese. We all like cheese. I mean, what's your favorite cheese? We'll go right into the serious questions. What is your favorite type of cheese?
Oh my gosh. Okay, well, my favorite cheese ever, I love sweets, and there's this thing, I don't know if it's a thing everywhere else, but it's chocolate cheese. They sell it at like all the cheese factories in Wisconsin, and it's like super good. It's like very equivalent to like fudge, but it's chocolate cheese, and that is like my favorite thing ever.
What kind of is it like cream cheese kind of like something like that or like ricotta or what is it? Sorry,
Yeah.
sorry for all you Italians. I'm sorry. Rigotte. So sorry about that. Yeah.
It honestly, again, like it very much resembles fudge, like the
Okay.
texture, the
Yeah.
look of it, like it's like sold in like a literal block of cheese, but it's still like, yeah, it's very like it still gives like texture of cheese kind of still. But fudgy, I don't know, but it's
All
really
right.
good.
Well, you're going to be getting a swag bag when this is done from me. So I expect some of this chocolate cheese in return. I'm a
Perfect.
little more basic, like like a sharp cheddar is where I was leaning. I didn't try the chocolate, but cheese is certainly top couple of foods for me. You're with Seattle this year, expansion team, which has got to be exciting and also probably a little nervous, a little nerve-wracking. I do want to hear like with the hockey thing, like we know what you did. You slayed it, in college, with Princeton, and you went undrafted. Was that surprising?
No.
Okay.
Yeah, I didn't expect to get drafted at all. There's obviously so like it's a new league. There's so many like everyone is basically like up for grabs like ever.
Yeah, yeah.
So no, it was not like surprising at all. I knew that I was gonna have to kind of get to camp and just like show what I could do.
Okay. All right. So many of the girls I've spoken with they've been educating me, on
Yeah.
PWHL and the way everything works, but it sounds almost like, just a college recruiting type thing, right? And then they're putting prospects in a list of people. And with your performance, at Princeton and not just looking at one or two games, with the extent of the resume, why do you say it with such, I guess, conviction that like, no, there was no chance? I mean, was it just, like I guess what was it just not on your radar or just not something you had planned so you didn't pursue it? I guess go into that a little bit more.
Yeah, so to be honest, when I was done at Princeton my senior year, I was done playing hockey. I
Okay.
didn't like
Okay.
wasn't expecting when there was the two different leagues at that
Yeah.
time.
Yep.
I just thought I was going to go into other things in life, was just maybe done, just really wasn't expecting to play at all. So that's where kind of like my mindset was just like, I don't know, like maybe I'm not even able to play in this league. I have no idea. And then the league came around and they announced the whole thing, and I was like, why don't I just give it a shot? So I think that's where my mindset was of let's just give it a shot. Let's see if I can do it type thing. And that's where it kind of was like, I really, I'm very unsure, most likely not going to get drafted. So that's kind of where that kind of stemmed from
Yeah,
was
I
just
get
because
it.
I
I
was
get
like
it.
kind of done playing and then
Yeah.
I'm playing again. So
So it's kind of a pleasant surprise, when you did go and kind of try it out as an open tryout, and they're like, "Yeah, we want this girl, right?" I mean, that had to be a huge confidence booster, I would assume, And regardless at what level they wanted you, I'm sure they didn't say, "Hey, you're going to be one of our four or whatever," right? Or
mhm.
maybe they did. But I mean, even to just make that roster and be part of the team and then show and prove to the point
Yeah.
where were you with Montreal for 2 years?
Yes, correct.
And then moving on now with Seattle. So
Yeah.
was it just the contract was up with Montreal, or how did that work?
Yeah, so I was just a free agent after
Okay.
the second year. So I signed a 1 year the first year and then obviously a 1 year the next
Yeah.
year.
Okay. And then did Seattle and Vancouver, did they kind of have their pick of the litter for, for lack of a better word, being expansion teams? Like, unless somebody was like locked in or something, how did that work? Do you know?
So yes and no. They went through their own expansion draft process. So basically anyone that was on a contract and not protected, or they were drafted, only signed a 1 year and rights were still held for
Okay.
that year.
Okay.
Those were the kind of pool of people that were up for the expansion. So I was in a really good spot in the sense that I was a free agent
Yeah.
and got to go through the process after free agency and kind of figure out where the best fit was for
Yeah.
me. And yeah, it was, I mean, a lot of different like communication and talks and things like that. And then like Seattle's worked out really well for me in that whole process. But I, yeah, definitely felt like I was in a good spot with being a free agent and having a lot of options open.
So actually similar to the NHL really about, with how
Yeah.
that works with expansion. If you're not
Yes.
if you're not locked in and protected, then you're pretty much, free game. And then the NHL or PWHL has to do a really good job of protecting who they really want for the future,
Yeah.
and who they're saying, okay. But in a sense too, someone with potential and a little bit more veteran and probably a little bit more leadership, it's almost doing you a favor. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Saying, hey, we don't want to lock you in, go and you're going to go to, Seattle now and be one of the veterans, right? I mean, your third year of
Yeah.
PWHL, you're basically the mama bear here, and you're what, 25 years old.
Yeah. It's so
So
crazy.
it is crazy. The league, from everything I've heard, and I'll be honest, as much as I've been doing interviews, I haven't been to a game, right? And I'm
Yeah.
so excited this year to get to them. I'm going to check one out in December. Now I'm going to well, Seattle's going to be tough, to be honest. So it's going to be, you're going to have to be over here for that. But
Dang it.
I love Seattle. It's just tough. I got three little boys, so it's not, hey, hop in.
Fair.
I'm in Buffalo, New York. Hop in. It's about
Fair.
as far. I'd have to get on the 90 and just not stop driving. Yeah.
Seriously.
But was that a tough transition? I guess, obviously Montreal, East Coast, you're
Mhm.
from the middle of the country. And
Yeah.
how much experience did you have with being over out west in that area? And was that a tough transition, or how are you assimilating to that?
So I had never even touched especially the Pacific Northwest, like not even a little bit
Okay.
until actually our takeover game when
Okay.
we were in Seattle playing Boston. So yeah, I've never actually been out here. And then this summer I went to Vancouver, like Yukon, like I was a
Yeah.
bit more out here, but I also just like absolutely love exploring new places and things. Like that's when why I went to college on the East Coast.
Yeah.
I was super excited to be in Montreal the very first year because I mean, again, like when do you have the opportunity to just like move around and live
Right.
in places that you would most likely never live if you didn't,
100%.
work here. So I was super excited, but yeah, I had never like moved out here before or like done anything other than yeah, the takeover game. So it was a bit weird. Like honestly, the only thing that's like way different for me is the rain, like the weather, like things like that. I'm just like, okay, like this is
Has it been rainy and
oh, I've been here for like I think maybe 3.5 weeks. And I was just telling I had a bunch of friends here this weekend for my show and whatnot.
which
And
we're going to talk about? I'm excited.
yeah,
Yeah, that's a good segue right there, Mariah.
perfect. And I was like, we had 2 gorgeous days here. And I literally was like, guys, this is like 2 out of the 4 good days in the past 3.5 weeks since I've been here. It's been just like annoying rain. Like it's not like it's torrential downpours, which I'm used to
No,
in
it's drizzly and gloomy,
yes.
which is
Like
worse. I would
you're
rather
gonna
it
get hit with
downpour. I
it.
would rather like Florida downpour for an hour and then be sunny. I know what you
And
mean.
then yeah, and then it's done. I'm like, "Well, I feel like I brought, like, all my raincoats back." Like, I had them in Jersey because it was the same
Yeah.
thing, like, it would rain, like, constantly, so now all my raincoats are back here.
I went out, to Seattle, and I'll be honest, we got pretty lucky too. It was, and listen, I have people that I know that live there and everything else, and they're like, no, it rains, and just look statistically of how often it rains. It only
Yeah.
drizzled, for us a couple of days. We had some real nice weather. I love the city, right? So have you
Yeah.
explored, downtown and done all that?
Yeah, so it honestly helped me that my friends were here because I didn't tour guide them because I didn't know what I was doing,
Yeah, yeah,
but we kind of did that all together. Our team raised the flag for, like, our brand name, like, the
yeah.
Torrent, and so we went up the needle, so I got to do that.
All right.
I
Yeah,
think I've got the base of like, okay, I have accomplished all these Seattle tourist things. So now I need to find all like the nooks and crannies of the city.
absolutely.
But
You got to
yeah,
now find all the non-tourist destinations.
yes.
I say, like, listen, as dorky as this might be, every city I've ever gone to the first thing I do the first day I'm there is like one of those tour buses, whether it be like the double decker tour bus. And then what you do is, you got your phone, you just take notes like, oh, that looks cool, that looks, but you get to see
Oh,
everything
yeah.
that first day. See, this is a pro tip. And then
True.
the rest of the time, you don't have to, you know where you're going. I don't get off, when everybody gets off at all the things, like do it on your own time. But I'm kind of a history nerd. So like I'll go to like, I want to see places where people were shot or whatever. And for me, Seattle, I'm a big Nirvana fan. So like Kurt Cobain, that
Yeah.
was a big thing, just going and seeing that bench and everything. So there's a lot of history out there and it's really
Yeah.
cool. And I think for what you're doing, right? Let's get into the second part of your life with,
Mhm.
your own clothing brand, I think, right? Look, we're going to talk about that because you're involved with royalty.
Yeah.
And then do you have your own as well, or is royalty yours? Or
Correct. No, they're different.
okay, so what is the
Yeah.
name of your clothing brand?
Riah the Label.
What is it?
Riah the Label.
Riah the Label.
Yeah.
All right. And I saw, just through some photos of your game day stuff, like it's pretty
Yeah.
fresh. I'm not gonna lie, it's pretty cool stuff. And
Thank you.
it's gonna be on our thumbnail. I got some good pictures.
Perfect.
I said to my wife, I'm like, you know what? I gotta come on. I gotta like wear something really cool and stylish. She's like, stop being a dork. Just put up. So like, I think, all right, I'm kind of stylish here. I got,
Yeah, you got a good jewelry stack going on. It's
it's basic, but I think, I got the cap and stuff.
basic
So
is great.
how did you get into fashion? Was this always a passion of yours? And I did hear in, that interview you were doing with that one cat, as far as like, I think you weren't committed to hockey at that point, and it was funny because you had said like, I'm going to dabble in fashion a little bit, and here we are, fast forward a couple years, and you're so blessed, man. You get to do both. So tell
Yeah.
me the fashion end of things, I guess, how that transitioned, and became what it is right now, and let's tell everybody about your brand, your label.
Yeah. So when I was younger, I was super crafty, always knitting, crocheting, things like that my grandma would teach me. And then I kind of got to high school and really focused on school. I love school and learning new things constantly. But once going to an Ivy League was really like in the
Were
cards
you
for me.
were you a really good student?
Yeah.
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 Okay. Yeah.
So I took all those classes, like all in the AP CIS
Yep.
or
Yep.
whatnot
Okay. Yep.
classes.
Yep.
So I kind of really focused on that in high school and not in the sense like lost my creativity. Like all my projects were way over the top, like
Mhm.
kind of trying to get my creativity going. But I then obviously went to school and for the first 2 years, again, just focusing on hockey. Like I really didn't do anything in regards to like fashion, nothing. And
Right.
also Princeton does not have anything near to fashion or design or
Right. Right. Yeah. It's kind of it's not that type
it's
of not that
they're not.
type of grind over there.
No, it is the
Yeah.
basic of the basic grind
Yeah.
there. So I didn't do any of that. And then during COVID, when everything obviously was shut down, we didn't play. Like our all Ivy League schools did not have a season, unlike other state schools did.
Right. Not at all. You guys didn't play at
Not at
all.
all.
Okay.
So actually 14 of us on our team took a gap year in between our sophomore and junior year. Random, but like
Okay.
what else were we supposed to do?
Yeah. Yeah.
And
But you didn't lose that year, correct?
correct. So
Yeah.
if you
Yeah.
like went back to school, so a couple of our girls like did school online and
Okay.
then you lost that year at Princeton. You could go use it somewhere else, but you lost it at Princeton. That's how Ivy Leagues work.
If you took it
So
online, but if you took the gap, you didn't lose it.
correct. Yeah.
Smart. Smart. Yeah.
Yeah. So you could finish out like your 4 seasons at Princeton, but like we
Yeah.
didn't get a gap year. So technically I finished college in 5 years, but
Yeah.
like didn't actually play five
Right. Yeah.
seasons.
Yeah.
So, but anyway, that is when, again, you go from being an Ivy League student athlete doing a million things at once, like you are not bored. Like you're never like, there's constantly a to-do list. And then you go and you barely have training available because the rinks are closed. And that's when I bought my first sewing machine and just took up to YouTube and started teaching myself how to
Really?
sew,
Okay.
all the different techniques and things like that. Then I didn't really do anything with it. Like I was just kind of like learning, kind of just doing like Christmas gift type vibe
Sure. Sure.
things.
Sure. Kind of. Yeah. Odds and
Um,
ends, maybe Etsy stuff or whatever.
yeah, just kind of like learning the craft a
Yeah.
bit. And then went back to school. Obviously, don't really have much time to do that there. So, but that's when walk-ins kind of started becoming a thing in college hockey, I guess.
Okay.
They weren't really during the underclass years, but upper class years they were. So kind of played into the fashion and things like that a bit. I actually did take one like fashion fabric textile class at Princeton that actually like was available. So I immediately applied or
Okay. Okay.
enrolled in that course. And then Montreal, or like the league, and then Montreal happened. And that is where I really started like diving into it. And it was actually just based off of my very first home opener outfit, which I didn't really expect like all the love for that outfit.
Okay.
I just like, again, like I love to be creative and
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
constantly have ideas. My Pinterest, my notes app is a very scary place. There's a lot going on.
That's what fashion's all about, though. I
Exactly.
mean,
Yes.
it's about not being trendy, following the herd. It's, I'm a Lions, not sheep guy. It's about creating the new trend, right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
when you did that, as far as the game day outfit, did you ever think it was going to be a thing? Or were you just kind of like, I want to look good, I want to look fresh, I want to go out and wear something, but did you think it was going to be then, years later, like this is what you're known for? Was that ever a
No, like no, not even a
not
thought
at
in
all?
like at all. And then I actually made that outfit, and one of the girls on Ottawa that I went to school with, Rachel McQuigg, she and then two of her other teammates were like, "Can you make this for us?" And I was like, "Do you really want me to make you that?" Like,
Yeah, yeah.
like it just wasn't in my like repertoire to make
Yeah,
something for other people. Like
right.
that was the first thing I honestly made for myself. So no, I didn't even have that in my brain to be like, this is what I want to do. But
That's really wild. So, I mean, I think though using like this craft that you had when you were a kid, and how things kind of come full circle, and then all these years later, you said you got the sewing machine and started taking the classes, but did a lot of it just start flowing back to you real naturally about like, oh my God, I remember doing this with my grandma or my mom, or whoever?
yeah, it's funny because I always say this now, like I really like refound or like rediscovered like creativity again.
Sure, sure.
Again, like I would always find bits and pieces like within school. Like I always found myself doing projects in regards to design, fashion, arts, like
Right.
anything that I like had like was able to do, I would always try to do something fashion related. I wrote my entire 97-page thesis on fashion and I was a psych major. Like I just had to incorporate everything,
Yeah,
like once I like found it and I was like, this is like I love doing this
your
stuff and I
passion.
just forgot that I did. It was just like everything. And then again, it's like it's a weird like dichotomy between like you're an athlete, but like I'm really into fashion. And it's like those don't really seem to like mesh, but they really do.
Oh, they
And
really do. Yeah. Like
yes,
I think more now than ever, right? And I
yes,
think, even the hockey dudes, right? Like, the hockey guys were always known for just being kind of the hockey guys. Now they've stepped up their game. Even the Buffalo Sabres, you watch these guys, the swag when they're walking through, in the pictures.
yeah,
I think it kind of started with NBA.
yes,
The NBA guys. Actually, no, prior it actually might have started with NFL once they were able to start dressing up when they got drafted
yeah,
and
true.
going up on stage, and then it
Yeah,
was like who could outdo who. And
yeah.
I don't know if you saw the one commercial that's out there where it's like Carmelo Anthony and a couple other guys, and they're like, it's like 2001 or two, and they're like, Jesus, what were we wearing? Right? They got the huge baggy suits, and it was the style at the time, but
Yeah.
it was trend setting at the time.
Mhm.
And Montreal, although I haven't been, I heard is absolutely gorgeous. So I know it's a pretty established fashion city, right?
Yes, yeah, they actually do a huge fashion show there as well, and it's stunning. But it's like you can just tell, like it's a very artsy, creative place. Like just
Yeah,
walking the streets, it's very like it gives like the European vibes.
yeah, yeah.
But yeah, it's very fashion forward and like a lot of design around the city.
So how did royalty become integrated with your brand? Or I guess were you working with or for royalty? Like, were they paying you, or was there like a sponsor endorsement or something? And then, right, because I know PWHL is involved with royalty, right? Or explain
Yeah.
that whole thing to me.
Yeah, so it's honestly really crazy.
It's
So
confusing, I can tell you that.
oh, I explain this all the time. Because I also actually have the diamond tattoo on me. See in my Instagram story or literally the tattoo on my body, they're like, I'm really confused because this brand is on my clothes that I'm warming up for the game, but you also like that whole thing. Basically in 2016, I started working out at Royalty. Royalty is a gym, and a lot of people don't know that
No, I didn't
or
know that.
yeah, aren't aware, but Royalty is a gym and it started as a gym. In 2016, like it no clothing at all.
And where is that
Uh,
based out of?
Minnesota.
Okay.
Yeah. So we that was in high school, like we're all working out. We all wanted like, you want the merch. Like you want something
Sure.
that says
Sure.
royalty, something with a
Yep.
diamond, something like that. So we'd have like Nike clothes, but just like brand royalty, like how everyone does now with royalty, which is insane. And then it kind of just started out as like some wholesale things with the brand, whatnot. But again, Carson Fossman is the owner of royalty. He's like my big brother. So he always knew that I was creative, loved, just styling things, people. So would always ask for like kind of my creative input on things. So that's when I was just like throughout the entire process, like from the start of clothing at Royalty up until now, I just kind of put in my creative input whenever he asks for it. There's no really, this is my job and
Right,
whatnot.
right. But
It's
they
just,
trust you with it though. They totally
yeah.
trust you with it.
Yeah. So it's been really, really fun. I got to help design like the very first women's line with Royalty, which was really fun and just like cool, like just the entire experience because now I'm kind of getting into that with, I mean, I do everything by myself right now, but just like the world of
How do you
manufacturing.
even do that though? You don't have a team with you?
Yeah, like for example, like the show, like I did everything myself. I sewed like all 12 looks by myself
Where was the show?
in Seattle.
It was in Seattle. Yeah.
And again, to preface, I have never done a runway show. I make walk-in outfits, which I don't know, are those what they're looking for? And it's a huge
Could be.
range of what I'm doing. Like I don't like focus on something. I love to learn new techniques and
Yep.
whatnot.
Yep. So it's not like a specific, oh, that must be her brand kind of thing, Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like, again, super new. Like I'm still trying to figure out brand identity, like
But
what
that's what makes
exactly.
you so unique. You don't even have to have a brand identity. With the lack of it being completely, disorganized, right? Or anarchy,
Yeah.
right? I mean,
Yeah.
there's also that point to, wow, this is really cool. I mean, anything from this to this. I think with fashion shows, a lot of it, like you had just said, it's to get your name out there.
Yeah.
Yes, it's the clothes, but it's more so the name. So,
Yeah.
from the more extravagant things that you might have, it's like two-way street there, right? It's the
Yeah.
attention of what she's wearing, but then it was like, who made that kind of thing?
Yeah.
So, right. And the first thing they ask at all those Grammys, everything else, who are
Yeah.
you wearing today and
For
stuff.
you. Yeah.
I think it's just as important as to what you're wearing as to who you're wearing.
Yeah.
And then ultimately, does Mariah want to be someone who someone else is wearing?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, hopefully. I mean, even at like from the show, I got so many good like compliments
Awesome.
back
Awesome.
that they're like, when is this collection dropping? And I'm like,
You're
next
like,
step.
yeah,
Yeah, or like styling some people hopefully like for their upcoming seasons because I also like love to do that. I'm very new to it, but I love to do that as well. So it is like that type of thing. It's like and even my teammates, like I have styled teammates before and I love it. And when they're asked, wow, like who made that or who put your outfit together, assuming like I don't know, they didn't because they're wearing, something maybe they like never thought they would want to wear
right.
and they are and they love it. So that's like I would love that.
There's almost got to be a pressure to it, though, I would think a little bit, right? And I
Yeah.
think maybe, and this is a little bit more advice too, is where you have that fine line. I guess you
Mhm.
look at it as you're a defenseman for the Seattle Torrent, right?
Mhm.
That's kind of your identity right now.
Yeah.
And we all know that sports is not along, I think let me put it this way, all these interviews and all these people I've spoken with and just my own experience and coaching and everything else with sports, the longevity is after you're done playing, do you still want to be involved with sports? So your options are broadcasting, front office,
Mhm.
coaching, right? Being on ice or on field with that
Yeah.
stuff, right? To give yourself these options right now, to say, and I think it's pretty obvious what you're gravitating towards,
Yeah.
and to have that, like, and I'll be honest, like Mariah, you're still going to always have the fallback of, I was at Princeton, I played
Mhm.
professional hockey, PWHL, so
Yeah.
I mean, you got it going on here, like you got a lot of stuff really going for you, and I'm impressed, I
Thank
really
you.
am. Like, and to be able to do it at your age, and then the possibilities are endless once you do get a team together and things like that, but
Yeah.
I can tell you this, don't give up on it. Like,
Yeah.
manifest it in your head, like this is where I want to be and this is what I
Yeah.
want to do,
Yeah.
and just don't give up on it at all. And I looked at your stuff, obviously. Would you ever do men's stuff as well? I mean, because it's women's right now, right? Right. I mean,
Yeah. No, I would love to do it all.
you got to get Remington in some of the stuff.
I know, I do. I mean, he's funny. It would take a lot to put him into Like it takes a lot to put them into like nice clothes.
I was reading up your bio a little bit, and I saw Remington. First of all, it's one of the coolest names in the world. Like it
Yeah.
just is, and it's very, very, very like Donovan is a little different, but Remington's like off the charts cool. It's so different, and he's playing, right? Is he playing with
Yes.
Is it Cornell?
Cornell. Yep.
Okay, and he's playing there as a goaltender, right?
Yeah.
So hockey all in the family. And you don't need to tell that story again because I heard about the crying brother and all of that stuff,
Yes.
which I thought was so sweet, by the way. So I just don't want you to have to keep telling the same stories. But for
No,
anyone
yeah.
who hasn't heard that story, look this girl up and listen to that. It was really sweet, just kind of the whole thing, how it went
Yeah.
down. So a couple more things I'll touch on and I'll let you get going for the evening. The baggy look versus the tight look. We're kind of like in between, I feel like right now, right? I feel like the guys had all the skinny, tight stuff for a long time.
Yeah.
And now kind of that skateboard kind of bagginess is coming back for
Mhm.
for guys and girls. What's your opinion on the current stage of the look of things?
So in my brain, and this is how I always tell teammates or whatever when I'm helping them, style or whatnot. I don't like to like double, like have like double baggy or like double tight. Like it's either you have tight on the top, baggy on the bottom, or you're
Right.
or you're tight on the bottom, baggy on the top.
Okay.
So that's what I always say. Like a
Yeah.
perfect like mix of it. Again, there are like, things out here that are like, wow, that really looks good. Like you have oversized hoodie, like big sweatpants on, looks great. That's my like kind of general rule of thumb.
Yeah. I like that though. I kind of see where you're going, right? Like if you did have, if you did have kind of the skater kind of bigger pant look or whatever, but then a nice tight shirt,
Yeah.
I think that's going to look a lot better because
Yeah.
sometimes the baggy just can be confused with sloppy, right?
Yes. There's a moment for it for sure. If worn correctly, I think it can have its moment, but that's like a general like day-to-day thing, I like to say.
What is your guilty pleasure song? What is a song that you put in that you're in the shower or whatever that you just like belting or listening to? What is your guilty pleasure song?
So I might get a lot of hate for this, but I am so bad at music.
Okay.
I only listen to podcasts. Like,
Really? No, I don't think you'll get hate. Listen, that's become a
perfect.
and I just happen to have one, which is
Yeah.
fantastic. I was talking to another girl yesterday, not off the air, not on the show, and she's
Mhm.
like, I don't listen to music. All I listen to is podcasts. Like podcasts are so
Yeah.
addictive too, right?
They are so I have so many saved. Like I'm like, I need to listen to this, this, and this. The only thing though is now I have like 10-minute drives to the rink. So a lot of
Yeah.
the podcasts I like to listen to because at home I drive at least 3 hours a day anywhere.
Right.
Just so
You
much time
got
in the
the
car.
time.
Like,
Yeah.
yeah, hour-long podcast, like like the normal podcast length of whatever. So I'm
Yeah.
like, I need to find some shorter podcasts to listen to. But yeah, I am like so bad. If my like liked songs playlist, because that's what I throw on. If people are in my car and we're like music, I'm like, okay, like songs, and they are insane, like just the huge range. So podcasts are my go-to.
They could be like a country to a metal to whatever, right?
Oh yeah, yeah.
What do
It's
take me inside the women's locker room, right? So obviously I've been in quite a few men's locker rooms over the years,
Mhm.
right? In sports and everything else. I'm sure it's not a whole lot different, but take me inside a women's locker room with the music and hype music and the prep, like just getting super amped before a game. Like take me inside that for a minute.
Yeah. So it's funny because our team right now, I feel like is trying to figure out who the DJ is. Because
Okay,
obviously, like
yeah.
we're a brand new team. Like no one is a vet of this exact team, so no
Yeah.
one's like I'm the DJ.
All right. So somebody's got to
Uh,
step up and take charge.
Yeah. So I think, I mean, Jessie has had the music, Jessie Eldridge, and she's been doing great. But I think in ours, again, we haven't had a game yet either. So I
Yeah,
think
yeah,
it's going to maybe be a bit different,
yeah.
but more like relaxing. And then, slowly to the game, like a lot of mixes, things like that. I personally like, I don't know, I like SoundCloud mixes a lot, just like random SoundCloud mixes when I'm like driving to the rink. But I think that's kind of like the music vibes is like that. And then once you're like kind of back from warm-ups, that's when it like kind of starts to get
You're right. There is
a bit crazy.
yeah, there's a mood music for everything. And like
Yeah.
I'm if I'm gonna go out playing sports or whatever, I need to hear some I love everything. I love hip hop, I love metal, whatever, but like I need to
Yeah.
see something to really, get the blood flowing. And I don't care
Yes.
what era it's from, man. I don't care how dorky it might be. Like give me some Limp Biscuit, right? Like give me anything, like anything to like really get the
Give
blood
me
flowing.
something.
Yeah, just give me something to get me going.
Yep.
But first game is what? It's November 21st.
Yes, in Vancouver.
Yep, and that is the two expansion teams going head to head, right?
Yeah,
And obviously, expectations are win this thing, right? Got to go out and get it.
absolutely. Yeah.
Well, I'm really excited.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. This was fun.
It was awesome. Have a good one.
You too.
All right, bye.
Bye-bye.